from Bart. Do you all remember that? They said they went and spoke to Bart because that's the Coast Guard report. When we saw the Coast Guard report, that's when we realized, I said, wait a minute. And I'm the one that broke that news, if you all remember. I said, Bart's name is on the Coast Guard report. His name is on the Coast Guard report. And I said, but Warren's the one who claimed that he called the Coast Guard. Now, that being said, they did say that they got the GPS data and information from Bart about that boat. You all remember that, right? So we know that they have it. So why wasn't it included in the investigative report along with the other information from the other boats? I have several questions, as we all should. But this is withheld information. You see, the Cajun Navy stated, and some people missed this, and at the time I even missed it because I wasn't even thinking about Bart, or I was thinking about Bart, but I wasn't thinking about that this information was not in the investigative report until last night. So the Cajun Navy stated that the names of certain private individuals and boat owners and witnesses who have not spoken publicly were intentionally withheld from the document summary. Yeah. So it looks like that includes Bart. Yeah, Augusta, or August A, I don't trust the Cajun Navy either. And I've told you all that. Specifically, I don't trust Brian Trasher. Okay? Songwriter Sonny said because it was removed. It was just never added. You see, the Coast Guard report is different than that investigative report. So even though they admitted in the Coast Guard report that, yeah, we collected this from Bart. We got this information. We went to Bart's house and all of that, to his residence. But you mean to tell me y'all didn't put it in the Coast Guard? Didn't put it in the initial investigative report? You didn't do it? And here's why that's a problem. Because if Bart is innocent, this might just prove it. If Bart was simply there to tow the boat, as has been alleged, then this could prove it. Because if he tied his boat to theirs to pull them, to give them a tow, and their boat was going slow, because it did say their boat was going like what? Like 2.7 miles, right? And then at one point it sped up. Well, Bart's boat should have been doing the same. But remember, I told you all that I don't think that Bart actually towed that boat. Okay? Because remember, I told you all how dangerous it could be. Hold on. Let me pull that back up. Like, step everyone, please like and share. Now, let's talk about it, because I told you all that they were on a 22-foot Triton. And so I said, now, unless a tow company like Sea Tow was to tow that boat, it would be very dangerous. If you don't use professionals, somebody could get hurt, even killed. Now, let me go back to that receipt. And also, you heard that here first. We break news on this channel, okay, with proof and receipts. Now, towing a 22-foot Triton boat with an amateur vessel is highly dangerous for an untrained individual. Is Bart trained to tow boats? Is that his job? Has he worked there previously at Sea Tow or any other tow company? I doubt it. I doubt it. He comes from a rich family, so I don't think that he would be doing such. But anywho, without specialized maritime towing training and equipment and knowledge of hull physics, this operation frequently leads to catastrophic vessel damage, severe injuries, or capsizing. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Capsizing. Now, tripping and capsizing, tow lines tied to the stern. Hold on, let me just put this on the screen. Hold on, beloveds. So you all can see the proof is in the pudding. Okay? Bart's coach said he was able to say he was not involved comfortably. I don't care what his coach said, honey. I played his coach's video yesterday. Yeah, that was breaking news over here. We reported that first. But I don't believe a thing his coach said. Sounds like he was capping for him. That's just my opinion. However, so now, as you can see, yes, towing a 22-foot Triton boat with an amateur vessel is highly dangerous for an untrained individual without specialized maritime tow training, equipment, and knowledge of hull physics. This operation frequently leads to catastrophic vessel damage, severe injuries, or capsizing. Kinetic hull risk, tripping and capsizing. Now, tow lines tied to the stern of a small vessel can pull its rear sideways during a turn. This creates a lethal phenomenon known as bridging or girding, where the tow line forces flip the towing boat upside down in seconds. And what did I tell you all? I told you that would absolutely happen because I know that without having to look it up. You see, it's common sense. Boats weigh thousands of pounds, as I told you previously. And if you tie a simple rope, no matter how big and strong that rope is, you tie it to one boat and you pull it from yours. Think about this. Imagine you're in a vehicle, right? Just picture this. Picture you're in a vehicle and you need your vehicle towed and you can't afford a tow truck. So you call your friend and tell your friend who has a pickup truck to tie your car to theirs and pull it on the back like a trailer. Not with a trailer, but as if they would pull a trailer, right? And this rope is pulling your vehicle. If the person drives too fast and then all of a sudden has to come to a stop for some reason, your car is going to slam into the back of that truck. That's the same thing that could happen if you're pulling a boat and you don't have the right equipment and you're not trained to do so. And quite frankly, you don't know what you're doing. And someone absolutely could get killed. Like they said, the boat could capsize. It could just flip over. Everybody falls out and drowns. Okay? Or at least someone could get injured, even if no one got killed. That's what could happen. So with that all being said, the likelihood that I believe Bart absolutely towed that boat is just slim to none. Now, maybe he did, but I just don't think so. Now, listen to this. Lack of brakes. Boats do not have brakes. If the towing vessel slows down, the momentum of the heavy 22-foot Triton will cause it to ram into the back of the lead boat, smashing the onboard motors. And then it's not going to go anywhere. Propeller entanglement. Slack tow lines quickly sink and wrap around spinning propellers, instantly disabling both vessels and leaving them adrift in open water. Let's talk about physical structural failures. Cleat rip-outs. Standard factory deck cleats on recreational boats are designed for mooring, not dynamic towing stresses. Now, under the heavy load of a waterlogged or stranded 22-foot hull, cleats can violently rip out the fiberglass or rip out of the fiberglass. Lethal snapback. Now, think about that. This is all about kinetic energy because that's something that can happen when you're in the car. And this truck is pulling you, okay? Because if they all of a sudden have to come to a sudden stop, you're smashing right into the back of them. What if the rope came undone and just sent your car flying into the middle of the road? It's all dangerous, and so is this. Doing this with a boat would be extremely dangerous. So when a strained tow line or torn cleat breaks, it releases massive kinetic energy. The line snaps back like a giant rubber band, carrying enough force to shatter windshields, break limbs, or cause fatal blunt force trauma to passengers. Wait a minute. Say what now? What if he did tow the boat and that's what happened to Nolan? What if he did tow the boat and that's what happened to Nolan? Let's go back to that again. Break limbs or cause fatal blunt force trauma to passengers? Damn it, Bart. Damn it, Bart. I think I just solved the case. I think I just solved the darn case. What if that's what happened to Nolan? What if they really did? What if they really did need that boat towed? And what if Bart pulling that boat is what happened? Please pay attention. because there's no brakes on a boat. And he did have this discoloration in the back of his head, like blunt force trauma. Damn it, I'm so smart. I just solved the case, y'all. I absolutely believe this is what happened. I absolutely believe that's what happened. But let me say allegedly for the record. Okay? August 8th said, why cover? It's so stupid. Because I'm going to tell you why if someone did this, oh my God. I want y'all to think about something. Remember that story that I was telling you all about Murdaugh and how Murdaugh's son and wife were killed? And then remember about the boat crash? Hold on, we'll get to that in a second. Hydrodynamic forces. Okay, let's talk about it. A disabled boat cannot actively plane on top of water. It acts like a massive plow, creating extreme hydrodynamic drag that overloads the towing boat's engine, potentially causing motor failure or forcing the stern underwater. Without a trained captain steering the towed Triton, it will fishtail wildly from side to side. In rough seas, a wave can catch the Triton sideways, broaching, causing it to capsize and pull the lead boat down with it. All of these things could happen. Now, legal and rescue risk. In maritime law, this is probably why someone would lie about that if someone actually did this. In maritime law, the towing vessel assumes major legal liability of any damages or injuries sustained by the disabled boat during an amateur salvage of tow or tow operation. Call professionals. Stranded boaters should always drop anchor to secure their position and call professional maritime assistance providers like Boats Us or Sea Tow, or contact the local maritime authorities via VHF Channel 16. Y'all, what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that? Damn it, Bart. Wouldn't that be something you'd say if something like that actually happened? If someone's towing your boat and then they do a move that makes your boat just crash into theirs, or someone on their boat or your boat fall and hit their heads, suffering a blunt force trauma? No, wake the F up. Check his chest. Is he dead? No's about to die. Can we cover it up? Remember all of that? Remember all of that? Remember all of that. Beloveds, I think we're cooking with grease here. I think that we just cracked the code. I absolutely think that's what happened. I absolutely think that's what happened. So if that's the case, then it wasn't about race. If that's the case, and I'm not saying it was, but it's very plausible. If that's the case, it wasn't about race. It was an accident. And if that were the case, it was absolutely an accident, but it was negligence. Okay? Allegedly, if this even happened. Hold on. Let me check one more thing. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Ooh, this is all so juicy. Pay attention, because my spirit and intuitiveness never fools me. Do you all remember I told you all? That's right. Sweet Potato Stream said the accident wasn't about race. The cover-up was. Absolutely, because I already told you all that if something had happened to where Nolan killed one of them, whether on purpose or accident, do you all think they would have covered it all up? Absolutely not. But here's the thing. Do you all remember when I told you about the Murdaugh case? And I said it was similar to this case because it reminded me of when Warren Hudson's father, Dr. Benjamin Hudson, offered the $50,000 reward. And I told you how Murdaugh did the same thing. He offered like $100,000, I believe. acting as though he's really trying to find out who did what. But guess what? There was also a fatal boat crash involved in the Murdaugh case. There was a highly publicized fatal boat crash in the Murdaugh case that many investigators believe triggered the eventual downfall of the prominent South Carolina legal dynasty. On February the 24th of 2019, 19-year-old Paul Murdaugh, the son of convicted murderer Alex Murdaugh, was driving his family's boat drunk, then crashed. Weren't they all drinking? Didn't Warren say it on the podcast with Tap Dancing Rage Batum Tatum? Didn't he say it? Didn't he say it? Y'all, we are cooking with grease. You heard it here first. Okay, you heard it here first. Now, the vessel Paul was piloting his father's 17-foot Sea Hunter center console boat. The boat had non-functioning running lights, requiring the passengers to take turns holding the flashlight over the bow for visibility. Traveling at high speeds through thick fog around 2:20 a.m., the boat slammed directly into a channel marker and a piling of the Archers Creek Bridge near Parris Island, South Carolina. The victim, the impact violently ejected several of the 6 underage passengers into the water. Mallory Beach, age 19, Nolan was 18, was thrown from the boat and went missing into the dark water. Her body was recovered 8 days later by volunteers. Hospital blood tests later revealed that Paul Murdaugh's blood alcohol content was 0.286%, more than 3 times the legal limit. He had used his older brother Buster's ID earlier that evening to purchase alcohol at a Parker's Kitchen convenience store. Paul Murdaugh was subsequently indicted. You go to jail for this on 3 felony counts of boating under the influence, known as BUI, and BUI causing death. That's why someone would lie. If, in fact, they did this, and we don't know if anyone did in this situation, but I absolutely think they did. And that's why if I saw something or witnessed something was prior or privy to it, I would absolutely have shouted out, "Damn it, Bart!" Because you always curse right after an accident happens or right before it happens. Think about it. You're in the car and you see yourself about to crash. Someone suddenly cuts in front of you and you can't stop in time. Oh, shh, is what you'll say. Oh, shite. Damn it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. Now, mind you, it's all speculation. I can't prove a word of it. The crash prompted intense financial scrutiny of Alex Murdaugh via a massive $15 million wrongful death lawsuit filed by the Beach family. Y'all see where this is going. 3 days before a scheduled court hearing that would have forced Alex to expose his hidden financial accounts, Alex shot and killed both Paul and his wife Maggie at their Moselle estate on June 7th of 2021. Prosecutors argued during Alex's murder trial that he killed his son to bury the boat crash lawsuits and stall his financial ruin. You see, this could bring you to financial ruin, not to mention jail time. Okay? Not to mention jail time. Y'all see how I solved this case, in my opinion? It's all alleged. But quite frankly, by accident. Quite frankly, by accident. Here's the thing. We could have all known this information weeks ago when I first broke this down. If only I had read as far as I'm reading now, because last time I didn't read all this part. Last time, I simply read the part about the boats and how dangerous that would be. Well, I find that all interesting, don't you? Okay? I find that all interesting, don't you? So with that all being said, I think my work here is done. I think my work here is done. Now it looks like I'm going to have to change this thumbnail. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Very important that you like and share. Okay, spread this. I need all of you all to share this video. I need all of you all to share this video because I want my credit if this is actually what happened.